this is Lauren. Thanks for tuning in to Travel Atmosphere, and we're going to get right into the topic today. We're talking about the Salton Sea that's located in Southern California, and this is a really interesting topic because a lot of people don't know about the Salton Sea, and it's interesting when you look at a map, Google Maps, for example, you can simply look at Southern California and you'll see this huge body of water. And if you haven't been to the area, you don't know what it's like where the Salton Sea is, but actually, this whole location is desert. It's sand, plants, desert plants. It gets up to 115 degrees in the summertime, so you would never expect to see a huge body of water like the Salton Sea lying where it is. So it's a very interesting location, and I'm very excited tonight to actually have someone on the line. Her name is Jenny Kelly, and she is actually the director of the Salton Sea History Museum. So, Jenny, I see you're on the line. Hi.
Hi. Welcome to the world, to the Salton Sea.
I know. It's a really great location. I've been there a number of times, actually. But I mentioned that you're the director of the Salton Sea History Museum, and I wanted to know, how long have you been the director?
Well, the museum is located inside the historic North Shore Yacht Club, and it's been recently renovated, and we just had our grand reopening on May 1st of last year.
Oh, right, in 2010?
Uh-huh.
That wasn't too long ago. I know.
No.
I remember the yacht club used to be boarded up, and it was closed for a long time, so that's interesting that they reopened it.
It was in huge disrepair, pretty well abandoned for a number of years until our county supervisor decided that it would make a wonderful museum and community center.
And now that's where visitors can go to learn about information about the Salton Sea.
Right.
And that's located in North Shore?
Uh-huh. It's North Shore. It's on the eastern side of the Salton Sea, about 10 miles south of Mecca. And what we do is, of course, educate about the history of the area and try to bring that back to life. But also, one of our main goals is to educate people about the wonderful Salton Sea and counteract all the negative publicity that's had for quite a few years.
Yeah, it has. I know there was a documentary made about it it was actually narrated by John Waters.
Yeah.
It was called Plagues and Pleasures of the Salton Sea. I was wondering, were you in that documentary?
No. No. Chris Metzler was the producer on that, and the focus of that particular film was looking at kind of the devastation that's happened. So it didn't really include, the new beginning that we have now.
Yeah, it was a lot about the people who lived around the Salton Sea as well.
A lot of the folks. I've actually lived here full time for almost 27 years, but I've been focusing all of my efforts on community improvement and serving in various capacities with nonprofits. And then, of course, I had the opportunity to open the museum, so that pretty well consumes all my time now.
Oh, so it was quite an accomplishment then.
Oh, it was fabulous. We actually got a historical designation on the building at the beginning of the renovation process. The yacht club was designed by Albert Frey and opened in 1959. So it's got a notable architect, which brings a lot of visitors. And, of course, we have all the bird watchers because we're a major stopover on the Pacific Flyway and get over 400 species of migratory birds every year here. So we bring a lot of visitors in for that, too. And then, of course, we have the photographers who just love the beauty of the sea and the surrounding area. So we get visitors here for a lot of different reasons.
Oh, that's great. Okay, we're going to talk about the Salton Sea, and I know on the Travel Atmosphere website we have a article that I kind of put together of information I found, but we wanted to interview you because you know all the information about it, and it's a great topic. So I kind of wanted to start off on how the Salton Basin, which is actually where the Salton Sea is currently located, how that formed, what the history is behind that area.
Well, in very, very ancient times, millions and millions of years ago, it was actually part of the Gulf of California, and the water came up quite a ways into California, and gradually the Colorado River, which comes down through Yuma, because it carries so much silt, it eventually silted up and blocked that off so that this area gradually dried up, but left great salt deposits, for instance, in the soil.
Mm-hmm. So it actually became a drainage basin, and over time it collected various bodies of water over thousands of years.
Well, it did. There's actually at least 5 documented ancient lakes that occurred in the Salton Basin over the last few thousand years, and all of them were the result of the silting up and flooding of the Colorado River so that it would divert into the Salton Basin rather than flowing down to the Gulf of California.
Yeah, that's really interesting to know that the Salton Sea isn't the first body of water to be there.
It isn't, no. A lot of people thought that, but there's a lot of areas around the sea, especially on the west side, where you can see the lake level of the ancient lakes that we now refer to as Lake Kauai, that is, I believe, about 47 feet above sea level, and compare that to the current water level, which is 231.5 feet below sea level. So the ancient lakes were much, much larger than this current lake. Even though this one is the largest lake in California, the ancient lakes were 2 or 3 times larger than this.
You can notice that when you look at the rocks on the mountains surrounding the Salton Sea. Actually, you can see the layers.
Yeah, you can. You can see where the tufa has deposited on all of the rocks and boulders on that side of the sea, and your audience might be interested to know that here in North Shore, one of our local residents who lives at an elevation of about minus 60 feet, so it's on a hill overlooking the sea, found the skeleton of a porpoise in his garden, and that was way,
oh, wow.
yeah. So that kind of gives you a clue that there was some ocean water here at one time.
Okay, and about the Salton Sea specifically, can you give some detail about how the Salton Sea formed? Because I know that there were kind of agricultural purposes behind canals that were formed from the Colorado River.
That's
so
right.
Can you give some details on that?
Sure. They started developing Imperial County at the turn of the century and bringing agriculture in, and because the area was historically had so much silt, the ground was really fertile, but it needed water, so they diverted some of the water from the